I like the artsy side of it. I like not just, it's just not a PC. It's more than that. It can be very artistic and very express yourself more than, you know, most people do. Been interested in PCs in general since I was pretty young. I mean, I think one of my most memorable things that I can think of that got me into modding or PCs or anything along those lines is being a kid and taking apart random things that broke, taking out the motors, looking at the motors, seeing how they worked, you know, things like that. And then, you know, went to college and did graphic design and built my own computer doing that, just general air-cooled stuff, and then got to working here and realizing that there's a lot more. We actually have gaskets that we cut with our laser. It's about like a 2mm thick piece of material that does compress rather well. And instead of doing the typical like homemade distros that you see a lot of people make, they use the O-rings and glue them together. That is a very tedious process. It's not always accurate because gluing them together is not always a 100% thing. Whereas we cut it, it's a full solid piece. There's no cutting to it, and it fits perfectly in the channels, so that way it won't leak. The design for this, I just personally wanted to put our own personal distros in it, just to show what we can offer. When it comes to designing the distro, it's really just the placement of the other parts and where the radiator is going to meet up, where the GPU is going to meet up, and then kind of measuring so that the ports are as close as possible, and then that the runs will make sense and match up, so that way it's not some crazy loop that doesn't make sense and doesn't flow correctly and whatnot.
Yeah.
My name's Garrett Collier. Started working at Performance PCs about 7 years ago, pulling orders for the business. And then from there, went to doing our graphic design, then helping with setting up events, going to those, and then started doing modding and PC building and helping out with customers and their questions and designing and all that kind of stuff after that.
I'm not turning on the fan or anything, otherwise it's, you know, you're not gonna be able to hear.
Right.
So, but it'll be okay as long as you're back there.
Okay.
All right. So, are you rolling already?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
All right. So.
My name is Henry Barron, but I go by Hank since a young age. Henry's formal, but everybody knows me as Hank. Currently the CEO of Performance PCs. It's something I've always wanted to do. I knew that the hours were going to be more, but the rewards can be higher too. So. No, we didn't begin as a modding company or water cooling company. It was a small business network kind of company, which was just me. I would go around and mostly doctors, lawyers' offices that needed a server set up and workstation. Maybe a year and a half after we started doing that we actually, I got in touch, or Eddie from EK Waterblock, when he was just a small company, got in touch with me. I think he got in touch with me. I can't remember who approached who, but he wanted us to sell their product in the US. And so that started the whole water cooling business for us. We brought his products in and they did really well, and then other companies followed, asking us or showing us what they offered, and so we expanded on the water cooling line from there. And then over the years we've been just expanding our product line. I mean, I think we have like 22,000 SKUs here. We try to offer everything in the DIY, PC modding. We offer all kinds of tools to modify, and we offer all the bling, up here, but that's when you fold it out, whatever. That's where you run up with your ARs and shoot through all the holes.
So this is for? Say this again.
It's a non-PC part. Yeah, this is for shoot. It's a shooting obstacle.
Yeah.
It's actually about this tall and about this wide. It stair steps down and it has 9 holes in it.
Oh, I see.
So basically, you run up with your AR and you have to shoot within time. Like they time you how fast you can get a shot on target in the A zone through each of the 9 holes.
So right now you just sprayed it to be powder coated?
No, this isn't powder coated. This is sprayed with a Raptor. It's like a bed liner. It's like a rhino lining. So it's completely different in powder. It's like a rubberized texture.
So how does this cure? How does it cure?
By air.
Just by air?
It doesn't need any no heat or anything. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. That's why we got the bigger room, so we can spray bigger parts.
All right. Awesome.
When we formed a company, when we started doing the sleeving of the power supplies, I forgot to mention that I'm the actual inventor of the modular power supply. Probably a lot of people don't know that, but I was the first one to actually, we couldn't put the ports on the power supply itself. We don't have that capability. That has to be done in the factory. But I did come up with the idea that, hey, if we could cut these cables down, just put, female connectors in all of them, then we would offer sets of cables so people only had to do the minimum amount of cables and not have a whole bunch of clutter in their case. Yeah, I thought that was kind of, I'd have to say that was like my biggest brainstorm back then was coming up with the idea, and then just seeing what it is today, how it's changed the industry with the power supply is just it's quite impressive, I think.